Welcome, and a welcome to podcast number 17. This one's going to start off a little bit sad. Like everyone, I'm mourning over Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death. Came as a complete shock, obviously, even though she was, I believe, in her late 80s. 87. And she's been dealing with cancer for years, so... what? She was so selfish. Why couldn't she just wait a couple more months? And so now the whole country, and while the world watches, we are now right back where we were 4 years ago with a Supreme Court vacancy. And it's even more awful because it's right before the election. And it's so much worse, this one, than it was during Obama's last year when those hypocritical cunt Republicans said that they can't do a Supreme Court justice in an election season. And Obama laid down and showed his belly and said, okay, let's play nice. Well, that's the problem. Republicans and Democrats haven't been playing nice together in decades. So now we are literally, 2 months away from the election? A month and a half? I don't know. And we're speeding through it already, and it's just disgusting. It just is furthering dividing this country. And the list of nominees that Commie Trump put up there is just freaky as hell. And, I understand everyone is boiling it down to one issue, and that's abortion. I never quite understood people's adherence to what other people do, specifically about abortion. If you truly believe it's a sin, or if it's murder, or all that other bullshit, you obviously know where I stand on it, then you should not do it. I will never understand these religious hypocrites that preach scripture. Most scripture is based out of love, forgiveness, compassion, empathy, and then when they say it, they use it for hate or racism or sexism or to just demean people. And I just don't get it. If your religion tells you something is wrong, then that is up to you to not do. You shouldn't push that shit on other people. It's ridiculous. It's not the Christian spirit. It's not an American spirit. It's just asshole spirit, And even more so, the fact that the mass majority of this country was banking on this poor, old, frail, 87-year-old cancer survivor. Well, I think cancer ultimately got her, I believe. I haven't really looked. Metastatic pancreatic cancer. I mean, you put all your hopes on this poor woman, and that is ridiculous. And the fact that I don't know if this is actually true. The fact that she allegedly said with her dying breath that don't fill the vacancy until after the election or whatever. The fact that she had to say that just shows you what kind of shithole country we're in right now. Now, I love being American, don't get me wrong. I would define my patriotism as a lot different than the people that proudly say, well, I'm a patriot. If someone pushes out their chest and says, I'm a patriot, okay, explain. I'd like to know how. Because there's a fine line between patriotism and nationalism, and I think we all know that by now. If you don't, you're part of the problem, more than likely. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg, arguably, in some arenas. Now, in my opinion, she is the most important Supreme Court justice in the last, 30, 40 years. And she may have been the best thing to come out of Bill Clinton's presidency, besides Monica Lewinsky's sense of humor. She is funny, by the way. And so it's very sad, and I'm in mourning, and now we just have to put up with more shit, more political shit. I mean, I kind of just want to disappear for the month of November because people, I don't know if you've wrapped your head around this. We're not going to know who's president until the end of November or early December. So for a whole month, we're just going to be hearing and reading outrageous news, outrageousness on social media, lies, outright manipulation from everybody. I mean, I really wish I could just somehow get all the internet and social media apps off of my phone. I know you're saying, Angel, you can't do that. I'm a weak piece of shit. I can't do it. I would like to go somewhere away from America, but again, no one's letting us in because we're fucking maggots that are fucking diseased. We might as well have rabies at this point. I mean, what the fuck? People are still getting mad about wearing a mask. Those people need to be rolled up in a carpet and thrown off a bridge. If you're still complaining about a mask. Still. It's been 8 months, cocksucker. Shut the fuck up. I just don't get it. I don't get it. The entire world is scared at us and also laughing at us. They're not laughing with us. They're laughing at us. And they have every right to do so. We are a shithole country the way that our president calls other countries. I shouldn't say that. We're not a completely shithole country, but we are in a lot of ways. So, what was I complaining about? Oh yeah, we're not going to know who's the president for a while. And I wish I could go somewhere that is not just embedded with the U.S. media and the news. I would like to go to like Iceland or Japan or Bali or New Zealand, someplace where whatever America's doing is off to the side and you could just chill. I got enough vacation. I could go somewhere for a couple of weeks, but like I said, no one's letting us in. We are the plague. So, rest in peace, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. This world is far worse off without you. And I do this bong hit for you, baby. Oh, RBG! Obviously, if you haven't watched that documentary, do it now. Pay her respect. Woo! Oh, that's a harsh one. That's a harsh hit. Harsh hit! I don't even want to keep going on about it. It's so disgusting and depressing. So, anyway, let's move on to happier things. The NFL is almost done with its week 2. And good God almighty, that Seahawks game probably took 10 years off my life. Which is okay. They tend to be the worst years at the end anyhow. But I just don't understand how we had that pretty decent-sized lead, and then we just let them come back. And that 3rd and 1 play, where all we had to do was get like one more first down, maybe 2, and we would have sealed the deal, and we threw that bomb incomplete, and we gave Cam Newton another shot. But then, it was a classic. It's one of the... I can see them playing this play over and over again in Seahawks history, but that goal line defensive stand against Cam Newton and the New England Patriot offensive line. Now, I have no love lost for the New England Patriots. In fact, every time they lose, I yell, fuck yeah, and I take a bong hit because I dislike the Patriots, specifically Bill Belichick, and really what the whole organization stands for. Cheating! But, to be fair, most teams cheat. They were just dumb enough to get caught. And again, and the quarterback, Cam Newton, I have no love lost for him either. I don't hate him, but I don't like him. I don't wish... any injuries or anything to him, but if he has a bad game, I celebrate it. So, you have one of my most disliked quarterbacks on my most disliked team, first year together, second game of the season, they're in Seattle, and it was a classic. Let's see. The Niners lost half their team to injuries, but they still won. The Arizona Cardinals won, and the Rams won. So, it really looks like our division is the... top of the cream of the crop, as they say. And I don't know what's going to happen with San Francisco, though. They lost 2 of their best pass rushers. Garoppolo's day-to-day, they say. He may miss a couple weeks. And their running back is injured. I forget his name. Mustard or some mustard. I don't know. He sounds like a condiment. And the Rams, did the Rams lose anybody? I don't remember. I don't think so. And the Cardinals didn't lose anybody to injury. But there was a lot of injuries around the NFL. It wasn't just the San Francisco 49ers. The Seahawks lost one big... I take it back. Bruce Irvin and Marquise Blair are not big names. They're starters. Well, I think Blair's a starter in certain defensive packages, but it's not like we lost Jamal Adams or Wagner or Lockett or Metcalf. And Russell Wilson, oh my goodness. He looks like a god amongst men, at least the first 2 weeks of the season. Now, I still think Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals is going to win the MVP. If he loses it to Russell Wilson, will I be sad? Fuck no! And so I'm rooting for him. I love Russell Wilson. I'm so happy he's my quarterback. I'm even more happy that I bought a DK Metcalf jersey because that motherfucker made Stephon Gilmore, the reigning defensive MVP, look like garbage. He manhandled him. DK Metcalf is such a steal in the draft. I just don't understand how you get all of that shit, and he almost fell to the third round. Are you kidding me? Every team passed on him twice? Except the Seattle Seahawks. But yeah, it was an amazing NFL Week 2. I believe the Seahawks now go to Dallas, which Dallas, they look like a dumpster outside an abortion clinic, but that came back and won. That's such an awful comparison. But they look like trash is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, sometimes you just make yourself laugh too hard. And I'm pretty sure they fumbled the ball 4 or 5 times in the first quarter, and Atlanta went out. And by the way, Atlanta, what the fuck's wrong with you, man? You were killing them. It was like 30-6 or some shit. And you let them come back and beat you? I mean, I like Dan Quinn, and I like Matt Ryan, but there was a reckoning coming. I think they're cleaning house. And I know all the teams, they all want that number 1 rookie quarterback in this year's draft, Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson. Everyone assumes it's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know, man. There was a lot of teams that were supposed to be good that look like shit so far. Now, again, it's a 16-game season, and we're only 2 games in, so there's a lot of time to turn things around. Duh. But Minnesota looks like garbage. Kirk Cousins looks like the worst quarterback contract in football. The Falcons may rebuild. The Lions may rebuild because they're 0-2. And don't think that a team that has a somewhat a somewhat young quarterback may want to start over again like the Jets. Now, Adam Gase is such a garbage head coach. I like Sam Darnold, but he has not grown at all. I don't know if that's on him or the staff or the management. Fuck if I know. So there's a lot of teams vying for that Trevor Lawrence pick. And don't count Gardner Minshew and the Jacksonville Jaguars out. I think they're going to get 6 or 7 wins. They'll be picking in the top 10, but they won't be getting that number 1 pick. So, don't count your cards before the flop or whatever that saying is. Don't count your chickens before they roost. I think that's a better metaphor for what I'm trying to say. Or is that an allegory? I get all that shit mixed up. I used to know the difference between metaphor and allegory and simile and all that stuff, and now they're all the same to me. The Mariners look like they're out of it. They keep losing to these good teams. I think we have a week and a half left in the season. They're 4 games out of the playoff chase. And we're playing the Astros, which the Astros are not as good this year as normal years. However, there's no way we're going to win 3 or 4 against them. We rarely ever split the series, so that ain't happening. So it looks like the Mariners may miss another playoff berth. But we should have the Rookie of the Year, which is a big deal. We haven't had the Rookie of the Year since Ichiro, if I remember correctly, way back in 2001. But yeah, the Seahawks are looking good. The Mariners have looked better than I thought. I think we are rebuilding in the right way. I think either next year or 2022, the Mariners will be a pretty damn good team. Fingers crossed. But I am just still riding high on the Seattle Seahawks. I think we should be able to beat Dallas, and then I think we play Minnesota, which again they're garbage, and then we play the Cardinals, and I think we're on a bye week after that. I don't know. I don't have the schedule up, so I'm just spitballing a stoned hazy memory that I got going on right now. So anyway, go Seahawks, go Mariners, and let's keep moving on here. We got some other fun topics to talk about. Following up on last week's podcast, I watched Netflix's Cuties, and I gotta say, I was right. It's not at all what people are bitching about. It's actually a very, very sad movie. I really can't believe how well I assumed the movie was gonna be, because that was really exactly what I thought it was. The critics were right. The people who have not seen the movie and just assumed what it was, they're the fucking morons. I thought they were. Just imagine talking about something that you never actually saw or witnessed or know any of the details about, but you just saw a snippet or a headline and then you went ham. So go fuck yourself. And I see IMDb gave it a 2.6 out of 10 rating. I bet all of those ratings were by dumb fuck people that didn't actually watch the movie. But to give them their fair due, the people that are against this movie, it was tough to watch in some scenes, and I think that's the point of the movie. And I also can understand the point of this movie's detractors saying, well, the real problem is that you getting actual 11, 12, 13-year-old girls to be doing this stuff on film, and that's always going to be there. they were never going to be able to live that down or shy away from it, blah, 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 blah. And I can kind of understand that, but again, you also are assuming that these girls, when they're adults, are going to hate this movie. They may like the movie. They may say, yeah, that was a good movie I was in. It meant a lot. So assuming how they're going to take the movie in hindsight is a little dumb. But I will say, you really could not have done this movie with like 20 or 30-year-olds pretending to be that age. You have to get actual kids to play these kids. It wouldn't work any other way, in my opinion. But to go back, yes, there was some scenes that were hard for me to watch because like they're dancing sexually, and sometimes the camera would like pan down to this little girl's butt. Or so yeah, I understand that point, but I also understand that you have to show it. Just saying it or alluding to it is one thing. That's what American cinema does. The French, fuck it, they'll show it to you. That kind of shock means more than just your brain assuming what they were actually implying. So, would I recommend the movie? Probably not for everyone. I think if you're interested in the hoopla over this movie, I would say watch it. Obviously, prepare yourself because it's not a comfortable, entertaining, happy-go-lucky movie. Not even close. In fact, I cried a few times. It was extremely upsetting. And the actress that played the main character, what's her name? Fatia Yusuf. She is really good. Damn, I mean, I felt bad for these kids. I felt really bad for her, the main character, because half of the movie was about her family. And I don't know the actress that played her mother, but she was excellent as well. I mean, that whole subplot, her mother and her little brother, that whole plot was an excellent part of the movie. Because it really showed you a well-rounded world that this girl is living in. And then you would have the other part of the movie when she makes these friends of these outrageous and in-your-face kids. And they're doing things that I can understand would shock people, but I think that's normal. It really is. It's sad to think that kids that age are watching pornography or catfishing people online, but it happens. I hear about it all the time. Not all the time. I don't want to think about it daily, but I've heard about it quite a lot. And let's face facts, people. Kids are getting cell phones earlier and earlier. They can look up whatever they want with no interruption. Parental controls don't block everything, and your parents can't be there watching over you all the time. So really, I think the people that are losing their minds over this and want Netflix to apologize, and they want people who watched it to be shamed for it. If you have kids and you think like that, you should not have had kids. You should not be a parent, in my opinion, if you can't handle what's really happening. You can pretend that life is one way, put your blinders on. I mean, ignorance is bliss, absolutely. The happiest people I know are some of the dumbest people I know. But it works. But if you actually want to be truthful to yourself and actually see what's out in the world, what's actually happening, unfortunately, in elementary schools and middle schools, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. These are kids. Think what kind of asshole you were when you were 12 and 11. Now imagine if you had cell phones then. I mean, pornography, YouTube, Instagram, all that shit. I mean, I don't even know what Snapchat is, but I know it's crazy out there. TikTok? Shit. So, I really think if you're this angry, you don't got your finger on the pulse of culture or society. You just don't. And if you truly think that Netflix is promoting pedophilia and you have kids, I'll say it again, you should not have kids then, because you're out of your mind. You're probably doing irreparable damage to your own children. So just cool it. Just cool it. Alright? And watch the fucking movie before you start spouting nonsense and hateful rhetoric. You dumb fuck. Come on, people. We're better than this. It's 2020. But speaking of Netflix, I also watched an amazing documentary called The Social Dilemma, which, ironically, I thought of Cuties when I was watching this movie, because The Social Dilemma shows you what social media is doing to the youth and to society as a whole, since its kind of inception on cell phones and mobile devices back in 2010, 2011. It is a great, groundbreaking, I would even say, documentary, but it is hard to watch because it is very sad. Not for the same reasons as Cutie, mind you, but because this is some truthful shit that's going on here. They interviewed about 20 or so people, and most of them were on the ground floor on a lot of these Silicon Valley companies such as Facebook, Instagram, Google was a big one, Snapchat, or Snapchat again, what the fuck is that? And a whole bunch of others, Uber, Twitter, and all of them talk about these little things they develop, like the like button, or the, oh, your friend put a new photo of you up. All these things that we take for granted, how Google's algorithm shows you certain results, or how YouTube recommends videos. It's very scary because, I mean, one of the guys that he was a ethical technology, what was his title? Not an ethics scientist, but he was like some kind of technology ethics engineer. Something to do with technology, ethics, and engineering. I'm drawing a blank, I apologize, on what his actual title was. But he was speaking some truth that was hard to hear, but you know it's true. And I don't want to spoil anything, but I'll try to summarize it. It explores the dangerous human impact of social networking. And they flat out just tell you, it is being misconstrued, it is being twisted, and it is being, what's the word? Manipulated, that's the word. I could not think of the word manipulated, that is strange. Anyhow, it is manipulating society and everyone, all these tech people that were being interviewed. They were all quick to say, well, nobody thought that all these evil things would happen when we created them, like the like button, the comments button, all this stuff, the notification ting on your phone when you get something. Everyone thought this would be bringing people together, also be making more money, but they never thought that it would be used to bring down politicians, spread racism, fear, to spread conspiracy theories. That's a big part of it. Again, I don't want to go too much into it in terms of the plot and what they were talking about, because I really want y'all to watch it. I think it's really important, especially right before this election, that we all watch and we try to understand what social media is doing to our minds and our way of thinking, and what it's doing to our kids. You know, to connect it back to Cuties, because they go into a little bit of that too. So, I would recommend Social Dilemma highly. And I think it's like trending or on the top 10 of Netflix. So if you got Netflix and you go on there, you'll see it. Let's see. I won't go too much this week into the anime that I've been watching because there's really no change. I'm still on The Legend of Korra. I'm on the last season there. I'm only on like episode 4 or 5 on Cowboy Bebop. I haven't started any other animes, just those two. Still watching the Cobra Kai, which is fun. I'm about almost done with the first season. I have started a new show. It's an older show from 2017 on, I believe, Showtime? Showtime or Stars, one of those two. Let me look here. Showtime. It's an old Showtime series called I'm Dying Up Here. It's about stand-up comedy in the 1970s. It stars a few of my favorite comedians, specifically Andrew Santino and Eric Griffin. Al Madrigal's in there too. He's pretty good. Oh, he plays Edgar. Man, I thought that he looked familiar. John Daly's in it. All these names may not mean anything to you, but they're comedians and they're well respected in the comedian community. So far, it's an okay series. I've heard some of those comedians talk about it, why it didn't work. It only got 2 seasons and it never really quite got great reviews. It was entertaining, but not really much of anything else. And I can understand it. I'm 3 episodes in. There's only 21 episodes. So I would recommend it. I would suppose if you like the history of stand-up comedy. If you don't, I would say skip it. It's funny. It is funny. But they also juggle drama and some family stuff. It's not just about stand-up comedy, which is what I thought it was. But what are you going to do? I've heard, and I haven't watched the show yet, but I've heard The Marvelous Miss Maisel is the better version of this show in terms of like stand-up comedy history. So after this, maybe I'll start that. I don't know. But once again, I feel like this is a good time to point out, like and subscribe, and leave a comment if you want me to start a TV show or a movie that you think I should. Or if you think I'm missing something on something I've previously watched, let your boy know. I'm all about expanding my horizons, baby. Expanding what I watch. Life is too short to skip things like this. If you think it's good, watch it. What the fuck, you know? It's like books. I'm reading 3 books right now. I'm watching 4 TV shows at a time. I got 5 or 6 podcasts that I watch every day. So, you know, I'm staying busy, baby. I can juggle all these things, you know? And I think you can too. I feel like I'm trying to start a cult here, so. I'm trying to think, did I watch anything else? No, I think that's about it. So let's move on to some more fun stuff. This one involving animals. There is a turf war going on in my backyard. Well, mostly my backyard, but I think it spills over into the front yard a little bit. And you know what? It maybe even hit my neighbor's property. I don't know. But there is a crypt versus blood type battle going on between the crows and the blue jays around here. And they seem to be fighting over the proximity of my bird feeder. Now, my bird feeder is hanging off my deck over some rhododendrons, about 5 feet up from that. That way I don't get bird seed or bird shit or anything like that on the deck. It falls off into the plants that, you know, goes back to Mother Earth, I suppose. Anyhow, over the last couple days, really, I would say over a week now, I have seen aerial attacks going on between these 2 bird species. Now, blue jays are really just bigger blue crows, in my opinion. They're beautiful birds, don't get me wrong. I find them majestic, actually. I love blue jays. But they are loud as fuck. And they are mean bastards, too. Crows, as we all know, very intelligent, very, well, I don't know how else I would describe a crow. Everybody knows crows. Besides smart and cunning. I don't know about it. But the crows do vastly outnumber the blue jays. In fact, I've only seen 3 blue jays, and I know they're different because 2 are like big and the other one is kind of small, so I'm guessing it's a family, but fuck do I know. Now, there's probably 30 crows around here. However, the blue jays, basically the size of 2 crows or a crow and a half, take your pick, and they've been dive bombing each other. They've been attacking each other on my deck, and I see it on my roof. On my roof, I hear a clickety, 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 clack, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Santa Claus is early, right? I look out my window, and I see these crows kind of dive bombing this blue jay who's just kind of chilling there, that's kind of stomping around and just making that ungodly caw noise that blue jays make. And then I see the crows will sit high in a tree, and I will just see one blue jay just kind of kamikaze right into the tree. Like, he just disappears, and then all of a sudden you see all the crows flying out. And it's cool. I really wish there was a device that I could wear, like a earphone or something, that I could hear what those birds are saying to one another. Probably a lot of profanity, probably some racism. Probably wouldn't be happy that I'm hearing these birds go at each other. Although now that I say that, I wonder what are some racist words, some racist slang towards birds from other birds. Oh, you blue feather bitch, and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm trying to think of stuff on the fly, and I'm too stoned right now to think. That bong hit I took for RBG, Ruth Bader, baby, really knocked me out here. It's a strong indica, but I love it, man. I love nature. I love just sitting and watch. I bought some ladybugs. I bought probably 100 of those things, let them loose. I've seen maybe 2. So I don't know where they all went. I have yet to see any praying mantises from all those months ago. I think I'm just throwing away money and I'm just feeding these spiders because I'm getting some ginormous spiders outside. As long as they're outside, hey, I'm peace. You know, we have a unspoken truce. I will not kill you on purpose. You will not come into the house. And if I do see a spider in the house, I will try my damnedest to catch it and then let it go. Because I don't like killing anything. And I like spiders. I know they're very important to the ecosystem. So, but yeah, there are some giant ones outside. And they are eating good. I have yet to see a ladybug or praying mantis in a web, so I don't think that's what's getting them. Anyhow, what else about animals? Is that all I got about the bird war? I think that's about it. Oh, yeah, there was one more thing. Bullfights. Why the fuck are we still having them? Now, I understand it's a Spanish... Is it just Spain where bullfights are? I don't know. For the sake of my honky-ass, bitch-ass, not knowing nothing about outside of America culture, I'm going to assume that bullfighting is purely a Spanish export. Now, if you're, I don't know, Guatemalan or Uruguayan, I don't know, and you say, hey, motherfucker, we got bullfights too. Well, I apologize. I don't know. I know Mexico doesn't have it. They have donkey shows, and those are another kind of show. And that's slightly racist, I think, but you know what? I'll let it slide. It's funny. Bullfights, it's disgusting. And I always root for the bull. Whenever I see, fail videos and I see a bull just gore a matador, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's what you get, you bitch. And I can't watch the videos where the bull is getting killed. I just can't. Or, you know how they fuck up the bull before? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's 2020, people. Let it go. Oh, it's our tradition. Fuck tradition. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Traditions are dead people's baggage. Why are we carrying that shit? They're dead. Let it go. Slavery was tradition. We let that shit go. Now, should I compare slavery to bullfighting? Debatable. Some circles would say absolutely not. Oh, but the point is, most traditions are stupid. Update, baby. And just like you get an update on your phone. Previous software was old, and here comes a new one. Update that shit. Hopefully it's better. If you have an Android phone, it's probably not. Oh boy, but yeah, fuck bullfighting. Always root for the bulls. Now the running of the bulls in Spain, that's fine. Because they're not hurting the bulls, I don't think. Now if they do hurt the bulls, I take it back. I don't think they do. And if you fall over and you get run over, it's your own dumb fuck fault. Why would you fall down? Just like, if you fall, spin, baby. Spin out of the way. It's easy. It's easy for me to say right now. Let's see. I think that's all I have to say about animals. I don't have any new killer whale orca information. So this will stop the orca stuff on my podcast at 3 in a row. I don't think there'll be a 4. I'm trying to scour my brain. Well, you know what? I take it back. I will say one bit about orcas. Did you know that orcas are more closely related to dolphins than they are whales? I knew that, but I'm one smart fucker when it comes to nature. I don't think you knew that. And if you say you knew that, I would hesitate to say you're a liar. But maybe you did. I don't know. I don't know how common knowledge it is. I think it's interesting. Just like the closest relative to the T-Rex that we have alive is the chicken, which is mind-blowing. So whenever you go to the store and you get dino nuggets, chicken nuggets cut in the shape of dinosaurs, just know how disgustingly ironic that is. That's all I'm saying. Moving on. As I've mentioned before in other podcasts, I'm a big fan of baths and taking baths. But side note, why the fuck are bath bombs so hard to open up? It's like I have a box of bath bombs. By the way, the box took me forever to open. I basically had to take my knife and stab the motherfucker so I could get a bomb out. And each bath bomb is like wrapped 3 times, like there's some precious egg of some endangered species that we must raise. No, motherfucker, they're going in my bath, man. And by the way, the last bath bomb I used was bright yellow, and I threw it in the water. I walked away for a couple of minutes to let it simmer, and I came back. That water was so yellow, it looked like beer piss. It was disgusting, but it was a nice bath. I got a really nice bath in my house, is one of the main reasons why I made an offer and ultimately bought this hunk of junk house. It's not a hunk of junk, but you know what I'm saying. It's got a beautiful master bathroom, and one element of that beautiful master bathroom is a nice, big, deep tub that has ample room on the sides for me to put a bong, a water bottles, light some candles. I got a house plant on there, put my music on. It's amazing. However, I hope that it won't be the bane of my existence in the sense that I will die in a bath, much like Whitney Houston. That's my fear. I don't want to pull a Whitney Houston and die in a jacuzzi or a hot tub or a hot bath because I got too fucked up and I kind of fell asleep and I kind of just pass out and drown. How embarrassing would that be if that's how you die? I mean, there's a lot of ways, I think, that you can die in a embarrassing fashion. One common way people die is they have a stroke or a heart attack while they're on the shitter. My grandpa Grosso died that way. He had a heart attack while he was taking a deuce. I'm guessing you're just pushing way too hard, and all that strenuous pushing finally makes your heart say, you know what, fuck this, and just kinks out. Next thing you know, they find you slouched over on the shitter. And God, that would be embarrassing. I would hate to die in the toilet. Hate to die in the tub or the toilet or the shower. I don't want to die in a bathroom setting. That's my biggie. I think if something random happens to you, like you're walking under something like a chandelier or a light fixture or something, and it just happens to snap off and fall on you, that's not really embarrassing as more as tragic and random. What else would be embarrassing? Oh my god, this one I will never forget. This shit I read about back in college, bro. This is probably 2006 or 7 when I heard of this shit, and it still stays with me. There was a zookeeper that died from being knocked unconscious and being smothered by elephant shit. So, yeah, just take that sentence that I just said in. This guy died from being knocked unconscious by elephant shit. And then the elephant kept shitting, and it buried him, and he died. Oh, can you imagine? I mean, obviously you can't imagine, but just think, if there is an afterlife, if there is, and you get to wherever you go when you die, pearly gates, fiery hell, whatever, Baptists, whatever. Baptists. Oh, God. Well, I can't even think. You know what? Ruth Bader Ginsburg, this third one's for you. What I meant to say was Buddhist, not Baptist. Oh, so, whatever the Buddhists believe. Oh, God. This one's going off the trains here. I can't even make fun of myself correctly. This one's going off the rails. What I'm trying to say is, let's say you die in an embarrassing fashion, and you go to wherever you go. How can you not be a little pissed? How can you not be? Now, I would like to think, let's say I'm trying to show off. Let's say I'm on a date with a girl. It's going well. I'm trying to show off. And I say, hey, watch me. And I, try to, run up the stairs, and I trip, and I fall head first, and I just crack my neck, and I die immediately. Embarrassing, trying to impress someone, and that's how you die. Now, let's say the Christians are right. And I wake up, and I'm on a cloud, and I have a little harp and wings and that little fucking thing above your head. I'm trying to blank on what it's called. I think it's like a basketball hoop. And St. Peter's at the gate. How can I not go, hey, fuckface? How did you kill me? How did you do me dirty like that? Come on, man. Why can't I die a heroic death? Why can't I, push an old woman out of the way of a train or something? Or running into a burning building to save kittens, you know? Come on, man. Although in that last scenario, if I die, odds are those kittens die too. So let's say I run into the burning building, and all the kittens are just happen to be in a box that's not burning. I grab them, I throw them out, and then I succumb to my death, and that's okay. Or I always think it'd be cool. No, we don't have a subway system in Seattle, but I'd always like to think if I was in a city that had a subway, underground subway, and someone fell on the track, I would jump down, push them up, and then I'd get run over. Now that's a heroic death, very heroic. Or I see someone on the side of the road that's having a heart attack or something. I try to help them, and then I get sideswiped by a car. Again, heroic, something brave. Maybe I'm in a shark cage, and one of the sharks has a hook stuck in its mouth, and I'm like, I'm going to help that shark, and I unhook the hook, and the shark thanks me by ripping off my arm and killing me. That's brave. That's nice. That's something cool. I don't want to be hit, and, I don't want to be a pedestrian, someone runs me over, or I'm just walking in a store, and my heart's like, enough, and I just fall dead, and I'm just, shopping at Trader Joe's. Awful. Awful. Everybody always wants to die surrounded by loved ones in a nice, comfortable bed. Not at a hospital by themselves, and not in all these other scenarios I've talked about. But how often does that actually happen? Think of everyone you know that's ever died. How many of them have actually died surrounded by loved ones on a nice, comfortable bed? Not many. I can count on one hand how many people in my family have died like that, or have passed away like that. Now, one of my favorite comedians, and I would also say that he is a philosopher, Doug Stanhope, has a hilarious, and I would say heartwarming story about his mother dying. And I won't give away too much, but that's kind of how I wouldn't mind going if I had to choose a way of dying that wouldn't be heroic or brave. Basically, his mother said, you know what, Doug, I'm sick of living. She had all these cancers, and she was a chain smoker, and she was dying for 20 years, Doug Stanhope said. So the story goes they planned out her basically euthanasia because she didn't want to go to the hospital. She didn't want to die alone. So Doug Stanhope and his brother and the other family kind of said, all right, Mom wants to go like this. Let's honor her wishes. And so they kind of had a farewell party, basically, for this old woman. And again, I won't go into details, but if you want to know more about it, check out the Doug Stanhope mom euthanasia story. It's both heartwarming, sad, tragic, but fuck, it's funny. But yeah, if I maybe I'll reproduce, who knows. But I'd like to think that when I'm old as fuck and if I have to wear a diaper or I have to need help to go to the bathroom or shower or get dressed and I have to be in a wheelchair or something, just kill me. I'm done. Just take me to the pillow store if you catch my meaning. I would tell my kids, here's what I want to do. Get me all the drugs. Here's my list of favorite movies. Take the weekend off with me. I want to have all my family at my house, and I just want to tell stories, laugh, get fucked up, and that's why I want to die. That'd be cool. And then, I haven't decided what I want to do with my body after I die. I don't want to be buried, because that's just selfish. You're taking up real estate, baby. I either want to be cremated, but even that I'm kind of 50-50 on. The one that I'm really leaning to now is that mushroom burial where they basically wrap you in fungi and mushrooms and shit, and they bury you, and you're decomposed underground like you should, and then life gets grown out of you. Maybe they'll plant a sapling on top of you, and part of you will grow up in a giant tree, and someday you'll be like Treebeard. How cool will that be? If that's how you choose to dispose of your body, but somehow the cosmic craziness that is life says, you know what? This guy did a cool thing. I'm going to make him a tree now. I'd be for it. I would do it. Sign me up, Mother Nature. But yeah, death. Fucked up. It can be. It can be funny. It could be a relief. I know when my grandmother on my mother's side died, it was a relief. When my grandmother on my dad's side died, it was a relief. Sometimes these people are suffering, and for whatever reason, they don't want to just be put down. Well, I know what reason. It's usually religion, which is dumb, in my opinion. Religion is keeping you alive, and suffering, you picked the wrong god. But yeah, I think we can close it here. Oh, one more thing. If you want to see something that is funny, but it's more than that. I'm trying to think of a good adjective here. But, it's Jeff Ross roasts the police. Jeff Ross, if you don't know, is the roast master. Roast like comedy roast, like make fun of people, a roast. So he's the best in the biz. I'm a big fan of him. And he went during the George Floyd protest. Well, really, the protest is so much more now, but back then, this was a couple months old. He went to a protest, and he was stunned to see, and there was video evidence of this. He went to a protest in New York, where he lives, and people are getting in the face of these police and screaming and yelling at them, and most of the police are just looking straight ahead. And you know what? I understand we're hard on cops right now, as we should be, but I don't get what good you're doing to further the right cause by getting in their face and screaming at them, screaming murderer, killer, pig, all these things at them. You're not helping your case. You're coming off as a fool. And so he was amazed at what was going on, so he said, fuck this. I don't like the hate the cops are getting. The whole policing needs to be redone, but you're not going to fix anything by yelling at people. So basically, I don't want to say he was pro-police or pro-protester. He's in the middle. He's kind of like me. So what he did was he tried to go do this police roast, but because there was video evidence of him at this Black Lives Matter rally, this is the shitty thing about the policing. The police unions blackballed him. They said, do not let this comedian do anything. He's anti-police. And that's when I was like, fuck you, police. What are you talking about? And so the only police department that let him in was the Boston Police Department. Boston. And It was amazing. It really was, because he went on these ride-alongs with these officers and, busted their chops, busted their balls a little bit, and was talking to them about the protest, talking to them about, well, you can see why people are mad. How do you think we fix policing? Do you really think you need to be militarized? And blah, 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 blah. And then he went to some of these protesters and asking them, well, don't you think the police kind of have a hard job? They sign up for it, but you don't really know what you're going to get into. Every stop on the side of the road could be your last. Every time you get a domestic disturbance call and you have to go to someone's house, you don't know. And you're right. It's so easy to say they need to be trained better. Well, duh, obviously they need to be trained better, but it's just words at this point. So it's really interesting how Jeff Ross was using comedy to try to bridge the gap. Now, he was roasting the protesters and roasting people on the street that, I don't want to give too much away, but, he was walking on the street with the police, trying to get the common people's opinion on police. Some were good, some were bad, and he was roasting all of them. But when he actually was roasting the police, most of them had a sense of humor. Some were the typical cop that just was like, oh, this isn't funny, how dare they make fun of me. Probably shouldn't be a cop if you can't take a joke, motherfucker. You're in the wrong line of work. So I would recommend it if you are... Hopefully you're not anti-police, and hopefully you're not anti-protester. If you're anti either one of those things, you're a dumb fuck. You should be anti-bad police, anti-bad protester. And by bad protester and bad police, I think you know what I'm talking about. The violent protester, the one that says Black Lives Matter and then breaks up the sidewalk and throws shit at buildings and tries to injure people. No, that person should be tied down and run over. And the bad police, we all know bad police, and the same fate. Timed up and run them over. That badge doesn't protect you, you fucker. You can't do whatever you want and beat fucking people up, innocent protesters, because you got a fucking badge on. Go fuck yourself. And the protester that thinks, I can get away with anything, man. I'm just doing protesting and freedom of speech, blah, blah. And then you do that kind of shit. Go fuck yourself. So, God, I really wanted to end this podcast on a happy note, but now I'm just talking about running people over. So, I guess let me back up and say, I love y'all. I hope everyone is surviving. The election is almost here. Halloween is almost here. I don't know what the hell Halloween's going to be like this year, because COVID's going to shut down everything. But, hell, maybe by the end of October there'll be a vaccine. I don't know. I have never missed a Halloween party. Every year, something happens, and I haven't missed it. And I don't plan on it this year, if I can help it. I'm not going to force it. I haven't even thought of a costume. I have costumes, but I haven't thought of a new one. So, well, leave me a comment. If you have a costume idea for me, hit me up. I'm all ears. Literally, I have giant ears. They're quite big. I'm almost like Dumbo if I could fly. But anyway, I love y'all. Take it sleazy. Treat others as you want to be treated. And just remember, in the immortal words of Neil Young, only love can break your heart. I'll see you on the flip side.